All right, y'all. Hopefully this shit works this fucking time. Because I just recorded a whole fucking segment and that shit did not work. Excuse me. Welcome to the Friday podcast. I got the phone closer to my face. The mic is closer. I tried to troubleshoot. Hopefully, if God wills it, then this episode will sound better than it did the last couple episodes. All right. Just woke up Sunday late. I was gonna record Friday, fucking tired, went to sleep. I was gonna record Saturday, tired, slept for hours during the day. Sunday, gotta get her done. Life is a trip. Life has been crazy. Thank God for everybody in it. Shout out to my cousin Jonathan. He's in the hospital right now. I'm gonna go see you today, cuz, and thank God that you're okay. I'm trying to think, is there anything crazy that's been going on? Yes, but I'm not gonna talk about the news. I said this earlier already, so I sound like a psycho. Sometimes I think when I whisper, it doesn't pick up. I'm gonna try not to whisper. I did a few questions. I feel like, did I talk about anything else when I was recording? Fuck. So anyway, random questions, number 1771 from 3,000 questions says, do you know the meaning of life? And as I said earlier to myself on this camera with bad quality audio, the meaning of life is to live, in my opinion. It's to exist, but in a positive way, to exude positivity, because it helps grow life to be a positive impact on the earth. And that's about it. Like, it's not too complicated. Like, leaving behind a dynasty and stuff is not, I mean, yeah, it's badass, but that's not the meaning of life. I mean, you want to be remembered? Maybe, but that's not the meaning of life. It's to be good, it's to be positive, because I think, so when I was talking, there's scriptures, I don't know which ones, but there's scriptures that say that God, in the end times, God will be living on earth. And so if God is living on earth, then he's living through us vicariously. He can see through our eyes. You know what I mean? So it's also because God is living through all of us. So he's witnessing everything. He's the Jehovah's Witness. All right. What would you be? I mean, shout out to Jehovah's Witnesses. I got respect for y'all too. Shout out to every religion. As long as you're not hurting nobody, you're okay in my book, I guess. Yeah. What would be your dream car? I'm not picky. Just a car that's decent on gas, has a great AC, good music, good speakers, the Bluetooth, and it's working, and it's not having a lot of issues. Have you ever had a roommate? If so, what did you hate about it? I haven't had any roommate that I hated living with. So earlier I just said my Uncle Rudy. Shout out to Rudy. But I did live with my son's mom for a while. We were roommates basically. But it was cool. Like, obviously I'm messy as fuck, and she would clean up, and that was amazing. But and then my uncle, he was a good roommate too. Like, you know, so I didn't really have any issues with that. Is there something you've tried to rectify but couldn't? If so, what is it? I feel like, well, everything that happens on a day-to-day basis, if I feel like I've wronged somebody, I try to rectify it ASAP, Rocky, because I don't want any loose ends. Like, you never know, like, you know, when your last moment can come. And also, I just don't want to leave. I just want people to think positively about me. But, you know, obviously you can't control that. Not everybody's going to do that or feel that way or see you that way. But it's also on me, because I'm like, I feel guilt. So, like, to get the guilt and to forget about the situation, let me just apologize. up. That's what works for me. All right. Who do you feel is a kindred spirit? Um, so earlier I was saying my cousin Ed, my cousin Nick, my cousin Jose, P. Perales, homeboy Carlos, homeboy Nick, my sister, my son, and the kindred spirit means that you think alike. Because I looked it up on camera earlier. But you have like similar views and shit like that. So like some of them are kindred spirits in certain ways and not in other ways, you know. But it's like the main ways are the important ways. Do you appreciate and learn from criticism? I do appreciate it and I do learn from it. I don't like it though, but it's necessary. It's like exercise. I hate it, but I need to do it. And just like criticism, I hate it, but I need to hear it. Number 1777 from 3,000 Questions About I. Did you have a favorite teacher or a teacher who made a big impact on your life? Yeah, man. I mean, I still remember my pre-K teacher. Wait, I don't. I remember my kindergarten teacher, Miss Pierto. I think one of my pre-K teachers was Miss Nichols. And then in first grade, I think it was Miss Gross or whatever. I remember second grade. Third grade was Miss Spires. I don't remember fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh or eighth. Oh, Mr. Stokes was the art teacher in elementary school, and he was pretty cool. I remember him. And that's about it. High school, nobody really stood out to me in high school, but I wasn't really I didn't make myself available like that. Do you feel robbed in any area of your life? If so, where and why do you feel this way? I was robbed of some time during the pandemic, but everybody was. And I guess things happen for a reason, but that was a crazy time where I got too used to staying at home all the time and shit. Where's your favorite place to get a massage? At first I thought it said message. I was like, oh, on my phone? In person, in my ear? I can't whisper. In my ear? Because if I whisper, then it might not pick it up. I only got a professional massage one time. I guess it was professional. It was on the beach in Mexico, in Cozumel, Mexico. And it was amazing. I need one. If the world had an apocalypse, could you hunt for your own food? I will try. Hopefully I will be able to. But right now I don't think I have the skills. I need to learn. I mean, I've seen some videos and movies and stuff. What's your favorite thing to add to your soda or cola? Cherries or something else? Alcohol. Do you think some people just want to be saved or rescued? Why? Yeah, because of trauma. Have you ever slept with a nightlight? If so, do you still use it? Nope. Well, I don't know. I don't remember as a kid if I ever needed a nightlight. I don't think I did. What is your favorite item of clothing beginning with the letter B? Does a backpack count as a clothing? I don't know where the camera is. Or baseball cap, even though there's a baseball cap. Baseball cap? Or what else would it be? That's about it. Who and where was your most memorable kiss? Oh, shit. Third grade on the playground behind the portables. Time to take a break. No, I mean, wait, that's not a good one to. I mean, I'm almost pretty good. I mean, it was just memorable. There was one where there was this girl who used to be a stripper, and that was pretty good during a crazy night of making out and doing it and stuff. Be right back. All right, we're back. Now let's do angel number of the week. Number 979. Wait, did it open up? Nope. Sunsigns.org says things might be happening in your life. And you ask yourself if it is the correct thing. But angel number 979 is assuring you of success if you stick to your objectives. Importantly, learn to live with people around you. The symbolic meaning of 979 is trying to show you signs of your angels in achieving your plans. Therefore, you have to pay attention to the inner voice that tries to capture your attention. So be patient and show determination in the best way possible. Let's see. In numerology, 9 is a symbol of retirement, a sign of rest from all your troubles. It means being innocent, being free of all evil. 99, because they say 99 is 7. They separate all of them. It's about all your dues and settling all your scores, that we talked about earlier with rectifying. Synchronicity. 79 means success regardless of the negativity around your life. And 97 means spiritual contentment. Additionally, 979 shows the end of a long journey of work life. You have been very committed to your company. The loyalty that you have shown to your boss is evident. You have shared the beliefs of your company and worked towards high standards. The angel numbers appreciate you and recognize your efforts. Very cool. Very cool angel number of the week. Gotta keep it real, never keep it weak. Now, last week, our water heater went out. Very sad. Very, very crazy. And no, it didn't go out. I'm lying. It was leaking. It was just bad, and it was very old. So we have this family friend who used to be married to one of our cousins. He's an OG. Shout out to Javier. And he, helped install and uninstall. He pretty much did it. While he was here, my mom was, this is all leading up to why I picked the spirit animal. So my mom was telling him about all the animals that come eat the cat food. And, it's possums, raccoons. She hasn't seen it, but I see blue jays eating them. Also, there was a skunk. Like, there's been a skunk before. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I haven't done that spirit animal, I don't think. So I looked it up. I haven't. When I worked at PLS in Mesquite, there was a skunk that was just strolling through the parking lot. It was pretty tight. They look pretty cool, and it's kind of funny how they walk. Like, they know they're loaded in the booty. All right. So, skunk spirit animal. TrustedPsychicMediums.com says the skunk meaning places the emphasis on being distinct. It symbolizes the importance of being who you are and living authentically without caring about other people's opinions. When the skunk spirit animal appears to you, it's to help build up your self-confidence. It's to help you develop your strength and sense of independence. WhatIsMySpiritAnimal.com says that the skunk spirit has excellent reasons for individuality as part of its symbolism and meaning. Physically, skunks have long nails on their forefeet. They can dig all night long, being nocturnal. They seek their food in nature's storehouse and aren't afraid to get their paws dirty. Skunk is a good representative of diligence, even in messy settings. Spirit-animals.com says that people with the skunk totem are the ultimate pacifists, always preferring to avoid conflict and turmoil. I think that's a lot of us now, though. They walk a fine line between being a people pleaser and balancing your self-respect. That's not a lot of people. Folks with this spirit animal always maintain a do no harm attitude. They also know how to be assertive without ego. A-Z-animals.com says that the skunk Spirit animal is calm, fearless, patient. If the skunk is your spirit animal, you know how to stand your ground and defend yourself if necessary. You also are aware of your power and use it wisely. You attract people with quiet strength and they respect you for it. As a natural leader, you never force your opinion on others. SpiritAnimals.org says the skunk as a spirit animal symbolizes protection, self-awareness, courage. Positive powers. Those connected to the skunk spirit animal are courageous. Being brave in every situation will help you to achieve every goal, and it gives you the power to thrive towards your aims. Shout out to the skunk. Not no punk. Not no chump. Smells like a dump. Okay. Dream meaning. Let me make sure it's still recording. Hold on, people. All right. Chicken, chicken head. So this dream was a long dream. I'm not sure where my dream book is at the moment, but I know one part of the dream I was getting a haircut, and that sounds like probably a lot of people have dreams about getting haircuts. So I looked it up. My hair snagged. I didn't cut my nail right. It's like all fucked up. All right, so mindyourbodysoul.com says to dream about a haircut. The symbolism of this, it kind of breaks it down on this one. So scissors, if you're getting a haircut with scissors, represents both the unity and the removal of undesirable items from our lives. In some dream books, scissors are seen as a sign of success. Shout out to the Scissor Bros, Jeremiah Watkins and Steve Lee. While others see them as a symbol of ambiguity. Oniflow.com says the hair as a symbol represents power and strength, which, if being cut in a dream, can imply that you are losing power. This could be in a relationship. To cut a friend's or family member's hair is a positive omen, especially if the hair was originally overgrown. MillersGuild.com says that dreaming about a stranger cutting your hair. The dreams where a person of no acquaintance cuts your hair signals that you're happy with how your life is taking turns these days. You're dealing with several problems at once, and at this point, you may be feeling overwhelmed and exhausted. But don't fret. ThePleasantDream.com. Dreaming of a haircut can indicate that your self-esteem is low or that you're unable to control things happening around you. Alternatively, it can also mean that you need to take care of your health, or you will soon become famous. I was like, yo, I like this one. Hair is made of natural chemical compounds like oil, moisture, and proteins. But again, these are just like little excerpts from Google and DuckDuckGo from the search screen. InsideMyDream.com says, so if you want to look further, that's why I give you all the website. You can look further into it. InsideMyDream.com says that dreams of someone cutting your hair can often symbolize a loss of control. It may be a sign that you are feeling helpless or powerless in a certain situation in life. I think when I had that dream, I probably was feeling that. Alternatively, but then I'm trying to rectify this situation. It's a callback if you've been watching the whole episode, not just the clip. Alternatively, it could be a sign that you need to relinquish control and allow someone else to take the lead. Indeed. Man, he's rhyming with some speed. News, anxiety news about anxiety with Christopher X. Christopher Xavier Chaos. All right. So this is from Israel21c.org. Musical technology relieves social anxiety without drugs. Gaze contingent music reward therapy helped relieve the symptoms of 50% of patients in similar success rate to Clipralex or Cipralex treatment. Researchers managed to relieve the symptoms of people suffering from social anxiety using innovative musical reward technology. It was a typo up there. Cipralex. With a success rate similar to that of treating the disorder with the psychiatric medicine Cipralex. The researchers report that 50% of participating patients found relief using Gaze Contingent Music Award Therapy, or GCMRT, as reported in the American Journal of Psychiatry. Indeed. In the study, 105 Israeli adults with social anxiety disorder were assigned into 3 groups. One treated with Cipralex, a second treated with GCMRT, the music, and a control group. The therapy we developed is based on eye tracking combined with a musical reward, explains Professor Yair Bar Chaim from Tel Aviv University, who led the study. I don't know how I said that so cool, so professionally. The patients choose the music that they would like to hear. Israeli, classical, hip-hop, etc. And are shown a simulation of a crowd on a computer screen. Usually, he said, individuals with social anxiety disorder tend to dwell on scowling or threatening facial expressions, quickly picking them out and unable to look away. Consequently, they often interpret the crowd or social situations as hostile, negative, or critical. People without social anxiety disorder, on the other hand, prefer to focus on positive or neutral faces in the crowd. In the new therapy, the music chosen by the patient provides positive feedback for a normal focus of attention on facial expressions in the crowd presented on the screen. Gradually, through training, patients' biased attention is normalized and symptoms recede, he says. Our findings are encouraging for both therapists and patients, with efficacy similar to that of an existing first-line drug treatment. The new treatment does not require the patient to take medications regularly, he concludes. The new treatment is simple and patient-friendly. It does not necessitate the prolonged intervention of a highly skilled psychologist, but rather interaction with social images on a screen, and therefore potentially offers accessible, effective, and convenient treatment for social anxiety disorder. That's a stretch, but I used to feel music videos make you feel pretty good. When you see everybody having a good time, you're like, oh shit, I'm having a good time too. Life of the party. Hey, life for the party. All right. So this series, this show, this television series, The Last Kingdom, has a new movie out called 7 Kings Must Die. Haven't watched it yet, but I wanted to review the show because this is one of my favorite shows that ever existed. So much so that I bought all the books and read the whole book series. Amazing. I wish I had them right there on my shelf, but I sold them for weed money. Shame on me, but kind of funny. All right. So, The Last Kingdom is a British historical fiction TV series based on Bernard Cornwell's The Saxon Stories series of novels. I'm going to double check and make sure the camera's still recording. Sorry. Fix my shirt, my shorts. Yes. Very good. It's still recording. The series was developed for television by Stephen Butcher and premiered on October 10th, 2015 on BBC Daze. For the second season, Netflix would co-produce the series. In 2018, the series was acquired by Netflix, who continued to solely produce the series for 3 más seasons. The series lasted a total of 46 episodes across 5 seasons, with the final season airing on March 9, 2022, a year ago. So it's fitting that a feature-length sequel that concludes the series story, titled 7 Kings Must Die, premiered on 14th of April, 2023. The day that this was supposed to come out. All right. So the first series roughly covers the events of the last. So it's like 2 books. I find it interesting that in Britain, they don't call them seasons. They call them series. And I don't know what they call a series. Because we call a series. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to look that up. If in Britain they call a season a series, what do they call a series? Somebody, maybe you answer before I... Program. So their series is a program, which is PROGRAMME. Interesting. Wow. Interesting. So, to me at least, out of energy drinking this one. Oh, I got some water right here, guys. It's some pretty decent water. It was the fastest one that would come to my house from Amazon. All right. So the first season or series roughly covers the events of The Last Kingdom, which is the first book, which became the title of the series, and also the Saxon Chronicles, or the Saxon Stories, kind of changed its name to the Last Kingdom series. The Pale Horseman was the second book, and it's condensed for the screen. In the year 866, the great heathen's army arrival in Britain is about to redefine the relationship between Vikings and Anglo-Saxons. Following the establishment of Danish rule in Jorvik and East Anglia, the show largely focuses on the resistance of the Kingdom of Wessex to ongoing Viking incursions to southern England. The first season covers the years 866 to 878. The main protagonist, named Osbert, in childhood, is rebaptized as Uhtred after his elder brother Uhtred is killed by the Danes. His father, along with other Saxon noblemen of Northumbria, are killed in battle against the Danes. Only his uncle and stepmother survive. Uhtred and a Saxon girl named Breda are taken as slaves by Earl Ragnar to his home in Danish Northumbria. Ragnar comes to accept Uhtred as his own son, adopts him, and raises him as Uhtred Ragnarsson. Time passes, and Ragnar's daughter, Thera, is about to get married. But fellow Danes attack the night before the wedding and set fire to the hall in which the family is sleeping. Ragnar is burned alive, and Thera is taken as slave. Only Utron, that's Ninja Turtles, only Uhtred and Breda escape as they have spent the night in the woods tending to a charcoal kiln. The attackers are led by Kjartan, a disgruntled Viking who had been banished by Ragnar from his lands earlier for an offense committed by Kjartan's son, Sven. Uhtred vows to avenge his father's death, Ragnar, when simultaneously hoping to reclaim Bebbanburg, his birthright, from his uncle, who seeks to kill Uhtred to keep Bebbanburg for himself. Uhtred is forced to choose between the kingdom of his ancestors and the people who have raised them, and his loyalties are constantly tested. The plot of Series 1 culminates with the Battle of Eddington. Fucking incredible. Series 2 roughly covers the third and fourth novels, The Lords of the North and Sword Song. Second season covers the years 878 to 886, shows Uhtred's quest in Northumbria and Wessex and Mercia, conflict with the brothers, and Mercia's conflict with the brothers Siegfried and Eric. This was the final season to air on BBC before moving to Netflix. Series 3 begins, solely produced by Netflix, is based on the 5th and 6th novels, The Burning Lands and Death of Kings. However, There are considerable plot changes compared to the previous seasons. The third season roughly covers the years 893 to 900. These episodes cover the decline in King Alfred's health and the continuing conflict between the Christians and Danes. One reviewer suggested that Netflix had a positive effect on the series, indicating with it came a certain increase in production values, most notably during the epic end-of-episode clash, in which the swing of every sword and thwack of every shield hit firmly home, but added that the blood and gore budget also undergone a significant increase, thanks in large to the arrival of the beautiful but psychotic Skade. All 10 episodes of Series 3 appeared on Netflix on November 19th, 2018. I'm going to double check this camera. All right, we're still going. Series 4, based on the 7th and 8th books, The Pagan Lord and the Empty Throne. Similar to Series 3, there are significant plot changes from the novels. The fourth season takes place around 901 to 912 and deals with Danish AD and deals with Danish attacks on political struggles in Mercia and attacks on Winchester. Uhtred of Bebbanburg continues his quest to reclaim his birthright and avenge his father's death, while also navigating the political turmoil and warfare in 9th century England. The season begins with the arrival of a new enemy, the Danes, led by the warlord Sigtrygr. I forgot how to say it. I'm going to check how to say it. Pronunciation. Because he has I remember him saying, the writer saying that Sigtrygr already exists. So it's similar to Sigtrygr. But it looks like Sigtrygr.
Sigtrygr.
Whoa. It is like Sigtrygr.
Sigtrygr.
Sigtrygr. Damn. Okay. So the Danes, the new enemies, were led by the warlord named
Sigtrygr.
Right? Cool name. Who has come to conquer Wessex and unite all of England under Danish rule. Meanwhile, Uhtred is reunited with his old friend, the warrior priest Father Bjarke, and joins forces with Alfred's daughter Athelflaed, who has become the ruler of Mercia, to defend against the Danes. So a lot of these people are real, like Athelflaed and like she was one of the, but Uhtred, there was an Uhtred, but you know, it's obviously like there's fiction stuff. And Bjarke, we don't know if there's a Bjarke. Throughout the season, Uhtred faces challenges and betrayals from both enemies and allies, including his former friend and now rival King Edward of Wessex, who was the son of Alfred. He also reunites with his son, young Uhtred, who is now a young warrior himself, and forms new alliances with the Welsh and the Irish to gain the upper hand in the war. As the war intensifies, Uhtred faces a difficult choice between his loyalty to his friends and his desire for revenge against the man who killed his father, while also grappling with the possibility of finding a new home and identity in the midst of the chaos. The season ends with a dramatic battle between the Saxons and the Danes, which leads to unexpected alliances and consequences for Uhtred and his companions, setting the stage for the upcoming 5th season. All 10 episodes of Series 4 appeared on Netflix on April 26, 2020. What was interesting because that series came out whenever during the pandemic, and in the first couple episodes, there was like a plague or there was a sickness. So the Irishman, I forgot his name, because there's an Irish dude who follows Uhtred when they met when they were slaves on a ship. Bro, because in the first series he was a slave. It's just a great show, series, story. So season 5 is a lot shorter. It says, not that it was shorter, but it says it was based on the 9th, 10th, and 13th novels. I guess they skipped 11 and 12. Warriors of the Storm, The Flame Bearer, and Warlord. Similar to series 3 and 4, there are significant plot changes from the novels. What? So what are episodes 11 and 12? Let me see. I mean, that episode's book. Let me look up the Saxon stories. So, War of the Wolf and Sword of Kings. I remember them being great books. So what happened here? Oh, well, they kind of put a little bit in there because it has a little bit about Athelstan. Oh yeah, Uhtred and Sigtryggr work together. So it's just like I guess like a science. It's pretty good though. It was a good book. I bought it. I remember I bought it when it came out. And then Sword of Kings came out in 2019. So Edward is dying at that point. Someone named Edgifu sends a message to Uhtred begging for his help. East Anglia. It's like a lot of fighting. Oh man, at the end it says that Uhtred is told the plague is broken out in the north. His wife, son-in-law, and grandchildren are dead. I mean, that was a good book too, but I could say that's easy. But Warlord, they did. Okay. Anyway, I follow a lot of the actors on Instagram. I mean, Alexander Draymond, who's Uhtred, Emily Cox, who's Brita, Eliza Butterworth, who's Alsworth. Oh, that's greatly acted. There's you'll laugh, you'll cry. It's not hilarious, but there's a lot of action, revenge, blood oaths. Pretty badass. So the series started shooting in November of 2014. So it's like a decade of their life. The main actors. Historical background. The main events of the reign of Alfred the Great and his heirs are well recorded. And a number of men called Uhtred ruled from Bamberg Castle, most notably Uhtred the Bold, more than a century later. The people identified as Danes came from many places in and around Denmark. So maybe it was based on Uhtred the Bold, because he was very bold. Including southern Sweden and Norway. Oh yeah, because he kills Ubba. And in the Vikings they call him Ube, which is one of the sons of Ragnar. Another Ragnar, but there's different Ragnars, and this it's kind of like Juan or Chris. There's many Chris's. The people identified as Danes came from many places in and around Denmark, including southern Sweden and Norway. Historians believe that the Danish invaders of Northumbria came from Jutland in Denmark, as mentioned in Cornwell's books, as well as some of the Danish islands in East Denmark or southern Sweden. Oh yeah, they were recording in Budapest. A lot of it was in Budapest. Bernard Cornell was the writer, he did a little cameo. It's been met with mostly positive. On Rotten Tomatoes, the first series has 87% approval based on 31 critics. I like this one. It says that The Last Kingdom proves that there's room enough on television for more than one Viking invasion. For me, I fell in love with the whole thing because then I bought some Viking comic books and shit, like graphic novels that were this thick. I already sold them. I wish I had them all here for green money. Well, obviously, green money for back then. For weed money. I wonder if they probably didn't even pick that up on the mic. It's pretty badass. 5 stars for a fucking series, man. Not a lot of episodes in each. 46 episodes, not that bad. Alright, I'm gonna take one more break. Then we're gonna do Badass Woman of Herstory and maybe freestyle because the music, the background, we'll see what happens. Be right back, ladies. Chance. What the fuck? Hell no. Oh. Alright, we're back. After eating and napping. Badass Woman in Herstory. Excuse me. Judith Francisca Baca. Born September 20th, 1946. Let me make sure the camera's recording. And it is. Hold on, let me make sure the angle. As much as I can fix it. She's an American artist, activist, and professor of Chicano studies, world arts, and cultures based at the University of California, Los Angeles. She is the co-founder and artistic director of the Social and Public Art Resource Center in Venice, California. Baca is director of the mural project that created the Great Wall of LA, which is the largest communal mural project in the world. Damn. Early life. Baca was born in LA on September 20th, 1946 to Mexican-American parents. She was raised in Watts, Los Angeles, which is predominantly Black and Latino area. She lived in an all-female household composed of her mother, her aunts Rita, Delia, and her grandmother Francisca. Her military father never knew of her existence and moved back to the East Coast after her birth. Her grandmother was an herbal healer and practiced curanderismo, which profoundly influenced her sense of indigenous Chicano culture. Baca's mother later married Clarence Ferrari in 1952, and Baca has a half-brother, Gary, and a half-sister, Diane. Afterward, the three of them moved to Pacoima, Los Angeles. The neighborhood was drastically different from Watts. Mexican Americans were minorities in Pacoima. Education. Baca was not allowed to speak Spanish in elementary school. It was prohibited. But she did not know English very well. Her teacher would tell her to go paint in the corner while the other children studied. After some time, Baca started getting better in classes when she was able to understand the textbooks. With the encouragement of her art teacher, she began drawing and painting. She later graduated from Bishop Alemany High School in 1964. She then attended California State University, Northridge, CSUN, and earned her bachelor's degree in 1969 and a master's degree in fine art in 1979. Judy was the first Baca to attend college and actually quit for a brief period of time after becoming tired of being poor. She sought out a job in production illustration and worked there until she was inspired to go back to college and get a bachelor's degree of fine art. While there, she learned and studied modern abstract art. She wanted to make art that was accessible beyond the constraints of the gallery and the museum. She wanted to make art for the people she loved, but she knew they couldn't go to galleries. I thought to myself, if I get to work in galleries, who will go there? People in my family had ever been to a gallery in their lives. My neighbors never went to galleries, and it didn't make sense to me to put the art behind some guarded wall. After completing the graduate school, Baca continued her education studying muralism at Taller Siqueiros in Cuernavaca, Mexico. In the summer of 1970, Baca decided to create a mural in Boyle Heights in order to bring community together. In the first team, she had 20 members from 4 different gangs, and the group decided on the name Las Vistas Nuevas, New Views. The mural they would create would show images that would be familiar to Mexican Americans who were living in the neighborhood. I want to use public space to create a public voice for and a public consciousness about people who are, in fact, the majority of the population, or who are not represented in any visual way. Raspados Mojados. In the Raspados Mojados, Baca used a street vendor cart as a sculptural installation to address immigration issues and misrepresentations of Mexicans living in the United States. Los Angeles street vendors constantly sell ice cream as well as Mexican snacks, fruit cocktails, corn on the cob, and raspados. This has brought attention to LA and has attempted to pass push carts loitering laws into any city. At the front of the cart, a painting of a Mexican man captioned "Illegal Alien Undocumented Worker," which is the main focus of the painting presented on the cart. On one side of the cart, there's a painting of a man who's being dragged across the fence, representing the U.S.-Mexican border. To the U.S., it is labeled Braquero War, or also known as the Mexican Farm Labor Program. Braquero is a Spanish term meaning manual labor or one who works using his arms. The Braquero program started on August 4th, 1942, when many growers feared that the World War II would bring later shortages to low-paying agricultural jobs. That is when the idea of bringing Mexicans legally to help with those shortages. Mexicans signed contracts to come to the U.S. legally only to work farm jobs where needed. They were given free housing, meals at reasonable prices, insurance provided by the employer's expense, and free transportation back to Mexico at the end of their contract. They were only allowed to hire immigrants where shortages were existing, but rules were not followed. Growers benefited from hungry working Mexicans, from cheap labor. Next to that painting, there is one with Mexicans at their farm jobs with paintings or tattoos on their back, as well as one with LA skyscrapers while women sweep and work. The tattoos show their heritage and backgrounds, as well as how they have been mistreated by the U.S. and what it was like crossing with many other Mexican immigrants to help support their families. Mi Abuelita. Their first project was on 3 walls of an outdoor stage in Hollenbeck Park. Mi Abuelita was a mural that depicted a Mexican-American grandmother with her arms stretched out as to give a hug. This work recognized the primary position of matriarch in Mexican families. It also marked the first step in the development of a unique collective process that employs art to mediate between rival gang members competing for public space and public identity. Local police did not like the idea of rival gang members working together, fearing it would spark gang violence. Baca also began to work on the mural without permission from the city or the manager of Hollenbeck Park, which engendered questions from her supervisor and other city officials. Despite all these troubles, Baca wanted to finish the project. She had lookouts who would signal the mural team if rival gang members were headed toward the work site or if the police were coming. One day, a city official came to the park because he had been getting complaints about the project. After seeing the progress done and team members working so well with each other, he gave Baca permission from the city to complete the mural. The city was amazed at the work I was doing, making murals with kids who scared directors out of neighborhood centers. After its completion, the community loved Mi Abuelita. Baca said everybody related to it. People bought candles to the site. For 12 years, people put flowers at the base of the grandmother image. She would complete a total of 3 murals that summer. After the murals, she was offered a job in 1970 as director of a new citywide mural program. She was in charge of creating this program from the ground up, which included choosing which murals would go, designing the murals, and supervising the mural painting teams, which would consist of teenagers who were in trouble with the police. Members of the original Las Vistas Nuevas groups were hired to help run Baca's multi-site program. They would go on to paint more than 500 murals. In this new job, she encountered her first problems with censorship. People in neighborhoods where murals were being created wanted to show all parts of life in their neighborhood, both good and bad. The city, however, did not want any controversial subjects depicted in these murals. In one case, when the city objected to a mural that showed people struggling with police, they threatened to stop funding the program if Baca did not remove it. Baca said, I really like the idea that the work could not be owned by anyone, so therefore it wasn't going to be interesting to the rich or to the wealthy. And it didn't have to meet the caveats of art that museums would be interested in. Rather than giving in, she formed the Social and Public Art Resource Center in 1976 to continue funding the creation of murals in public. Her efforts to include community in her artistic processes make her unique to her time. Bringing youth together to create art left a lasting impression in Los Angeles. Shifting Chicano culture. The involvement of poor youth of color in Baca's artistic processes changed the way white supremacist, capitalist, patriarchal culture perceived their place in society. Perhaps even more importantly, Baca's citywide mural program strengthened community and gave people a sense of purpose. Let's see, in 1987, she began painting The World Wall, a vision of the future without fear, a painting that showed the world with no violence. She believed the first step to world peace was imagining it. She wanted artists from all over the world to help her paint it. She wanted it to be painted in panels so it could be moved around to different places. After years of planning and contributions made by artists from other countries, the painting had its debut in Finland in 1990. The idea was that when the panels traveled around the world, each host country would add their own panel to the collection. Some of the countries included Russia, Israel/Palestine, Mexico, and Canada. In 1988, Mayor of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley, commissioned her to create the Neighborhood Pride Program, a citywide project to paint murals. The project employed over 1,800 at-risk youth and has been responsible for the creation of over 105 murals throughout the city. In 1996, she created La Memoria de Nuestra Tierra, Our Land Has Memory, for the Denver International Airport. This one was personal for Baca, as her grandparents fled Mexico during the Mexican Revolution and came to La Junta, Colorado. The mural's intent was not only to tell the forgotten stories of people who, like birds or water, traveled back and forth across the land freely before there was a line that distinguished which side you were from, but to speak to our shared human condition as temporary residents of the earth. The making of this work was an excavation of remembering their histories. It was completed in 2000. She conducted research by interviewing residents and led a workshop with the University of Southern Colorado students. She found a picture in a garage in Pueblo by Juan Espinosa, photographer and founder El Diario de la Gente, Boulder, Colorado, of an important meeting between Corky Gonzalez of the Colorado Crusade for Justice and Cesar Chavez of the United Farm Workers, and their agreement to bring the Delano grape strike to Colorado. Baca spoke at the Against the Wall, the Ruin and Renewal of LA's Murals panel held at Morano King Gallery across the street from the famous Pope of Broadway mural. In the same year, she made the Cesar Chavez Monument Arch of Dignity, Equality, and Justice. It is located at San Jose State University. It has a portrait of Cesar Chavez, Mahatma Gandhi, and Dolores Huerta, which we've talked about. She's the one that did the phrase, Si se puede. Feminism and art. As a Chicana woman, let me double check on the camera real quick. All right, let's take a break. We'll just be safe. All right, let's get back at it. Pardon me. Perdóname. As a Chicana woman, she wanted to empower the women of color and bring community together in LA. Baca did so by illuminating the beauty and power and rich Chicana culture through public art. The processes behind the images that Baca created are equally powerful. Baca's premise in her artistic process was to involve disempowered youth in order to evoke a sense of community and enable growth. In some ways, these acts cause Baca's art to be feminist. On the other hand, identity is personal, and only Baca has the agency to identify herself and her art as feminist. After divorcing her husband and moving to Venice, she becomes involved with consciousness-raising meetings. After being invited to one of the meetings by her new landlord, Baca says she began meeting other professional women for the first time in her life. Women who were doctors, lawyers, biologists, chemists, and I had never met anybody like that. I was completely amazed at the possibility of what was available for women. Though she was introduced to feminist art by Judy Chicago and inspired a few of her other works, naming Women's Space, Women's Building, and the Feminist Studio Workshop. Interesting. She also began teaching at her alma mater, Bishop Alemani High School. She taught a program known as Allied Arts, which combined many artistic disciplines and created her first mural project with those students. Baca was fired after she was involved in public protest against the Vietnam War. Baca began a professorship at University of California, Irvine in 1980 and left in 94. The next year, she implemented the muralist training workshop to teach people the techniques she had picked up. She also served as a professor at California State University, Monterey Bay from 94 to 96, when she co-founded the Visual and Public Arts Institute Department. Judy Baca has been teaching at art in the UC system for just over 28 years. 15 of those have been at the UCLA Cesar E. Chavez Department of Chicano Studies. In 2002, she was joint appointed to the World's Art and Culture Development, and in 2014, she was appointed a full professor of the department. Interesting. In 96, she moved to University of California, LA, and took on multiple roles. In 93, she co-founded the Cesar Chavez Center for Interdisciplinary Studies at UCLA, an institution for which she serves as vice chair. In 98, she served as a master artist in residence with the role of the arts and civic dialogue at Harvard University. So all around, just badass woman of history. All right. Now, I'm going to try to put on a beat. Hopefully it doesn't fuck up the mic. Hopefully the mic still sounds decent. And freestyle. And wrap this baby up. On Friday podcast, which came out probably Sunday night. We'll see. Maybe Monday. Either way, it's all good. Know what I'm saying? Still got them Friday vibes. Let's see. Pull the beat up. Sorry. I have OCD and I'm messing with the back of my hair. It's really cool. Now let's keep going. Yo. All right, let's see what we can do with this, baby. Shout out to Louis P for the beat. Even though I try to stay hard, every day I pray to God, 'cause he's in my squad. Man, I'm not a fraud. I keep it 100, even if I gotta start gunning. Haters talk shit, they about to start running. Man, I hope I never start bumming. Man, I hope I never start slumming. But till then, I'm about to make 100 grand. It's the man. Got a fucking good plan. What it do? Man, I'm coming from the crazy land. The guard land. Smoking guards, man. Chilling in my car, man. I'ma go far, man. I ain't trying to pop a bar, man. Oh, that's a star, damn. It's time to pull over. I'ma get sober. People talk a lot of shit, but they can't get colder than me. Call me Mr. Freeze. I take them in a breeze. I'm talking dime, ducks, and V's. I'm trying to make a lot of cheese. I'm trying to make a lot of wop. Man, you sound like a cop. Man, I can't never stop. Even when I fucking drop 6 feet deep, gotta hold the heat. People talk shit, but really they creep. Yeah, I used to be a geek, and I think I'm going back to that streak. Hide and seek. like a missile. I get your girl and I kiss her like we under missile. Oh, man, you a hoe. Coming off the block with the motherfucking bro. For sure. Damn, I'm slow. But sometimes I move fast. And sometimes I blow past. And I just saw a white butterfly. I'm getting super high. And I'm super fly. I gotta check that shit before I die. People come up to me, you want an autograph? I'll be like, hell yeah, G. Keep it player, work hard, pray to God. Keep it 100, get a squad. Love your family, can't hand me no bullshit. They can't stand me, but they stand me. Man, move around me. See y'all next time. Friday Podcast. Friday Podcast. I don't know if you can hear this on the mic, man, but coming through. What it do? Nah.